Now today we will continue our lesson on the vertical transportation system, and today we are going to give you a more advanced topic in VTS. Now last time we have a lesson on let you know the analysis of the traffic, lift traffic, and we will have a tutorial class after we have the lecture. So I hope that you can get more understanding on the topic for the lift traffic analysis, because it is very important. If you are going to design a lift system, you better know how to analyze the lift traffic. And today we are going to specify a topic on the computer-aided vertical transportation system, so that now we told you some more modern approach to control our lift system. And here we have the topics, including the settling, the traffic control algorithms, and basically the algorithm, it is going to develop by using a computer control. Therefore, we are going to tell you about the computer traffic control. Okay, and now the most advanced topics that we apply in our lift control system is the AI, and therefore we talk something relating to AI also. And I select one of the simplest AI technology to describe with you. It is the fuzzy logic. Okay. And the others may be too difficult to you because we cannot spend only half an hour to explain the artificial intelligence to you. Therefore, I only select one of the topic to describe to you. And after that, we talk about the energy saving methods. And finally, we have some case studies on the gondola system and also the material passing system. Okay. Now, in any case, if you have any problem, you can stop me by raise your question in the chat room or even speak to me. Okay. Now here, we firstly give you some idea on the settling that we have already told you last time. Now, settling, it is used for a group of leaves. For example, we have 4 groups of leaves, and we are going to assign individual leaf to each or some force in order to serve this force, and it is known as settling. And so far, we have 2 types of settling. The first type is static demand setters, so that in this case, we assign a leaf to a even number of force, so that we try to make this leaf surface become balanced. Okay. Now here we describe that a setter includes both up and down landing course, so that some of the leaf surface, the passenger required to go up, but some of them are required to go down. Okay. So by applying the setter, it means that we have some limits to the 4. For example, in the picture, you can see that we identify 4 setters, A, B, C, D. And the boundary can be shown in the double line in the building. So you can see zone A will serve only for the main terminals that are 4. Setter B will serve to the setter from 4-1 to 4-6. For setter C is served to the 7-4 to 11-4. And finally, setter D is served 12-4 to 16-4. Okay. In each of the setter, a leaf is allocated to it. Okay. And the leaf will serve any call in this setter. And this setter will not be served by another leaf normally. But you may notice that later we will introduce to you some control mechanism. You may see that the leaf can serve the other setter. Okay. Now, and also, in some case, the leaf may be full loaded. Therefore, they cannot be allocated to the setter. Okay. Now, this idea should be trivial because the leaf is already full and it cannot serve any call anymore. Now, for the leaf, it is operate. Now, we assume that it is operate in the directional corrective principle that we introduced to you last time. This principle means that it serves the call according to the forward order. For example, if we receive a call from the forward 1357, so the leaf will serve, if it is in the ground forward, it will serve the forward 1, 4, 3, 5, 4, and then 7, 4. So this is what we call the directional corrective principle. It serves in the forward order. So how can we control our leaf? Now we have three control mechanisms. The first one, the leaf will respond to the landing calls registered inside the setter. And also, it responds to the landing call in adjacent vacant setter above. Now it means that if the setter does not contain any leaf inside, if a leaf a leaf inside a setter receive a call above its setter, it will serve the call also. Okay, for example, if the boundary up to 4, 7, if we found the H4 has a call, this leaf will also serve the H4 because in the upper setter, it does not contain any leaf. Okay. Now this is the first rule. Now the second rule, now we say that it responds to the landing call below the car setter if the leaf is assigned to the lowest occupied setter. Okay. Now, for example, now this is also trivial because now if we say that the leaf boundary is from 7 to 12, 4. If now the leaf is going down, and if it is the lowest occupied setter, so that the remaining setter is from 6 to the main terminal. Now inside this setter, if there is a call, because the leaf is going down, therefore this call can still be served by the movement of the leaf. Okay, so we say that if this leaf is in the lowest occupied setter, it will continue to serve the setter below. Okay. Now the third mechanism, we say that if the landing call are detected behind a leaf, so that the leaf is just passed when the passenger press the call button. So we consider this call become vacant because the leaf has just passed the forward, and this call cannot be served. Therefore, we consider the setter become vacant because the leaf will leave the setter to go up and down to the other setters. And therefore, we consider this is a vacant setter. If there is any leaf in other setter can serve this vacant call, the leaf will answer to this call. Okay. Now here we introduce also about what is so-called the de-assignment. Now de-assignment, it is a leaf from each setter take place when the leaf leave the setters. Okay. In any case, if the leaf require respond to the call to come down to the main terminal, or we have some VIP surface that make the leaf suspend, so it makes the leaf become leaving the setter. As a result, we call this leaf is deassigned. Okay, so a leaf pick up call ahead when traveling in other direction. Now, when it is deassigned, that it means the leaf does not belong to any setter. Therefore, it can receive any call or answer to any call in any direction. Okay. Now here, this page only a summary on what we described to you about the how the leaf in a fixed setter system respond to the call. For example, it should respond to the register car call. It should answer the landing call register inside the setter. Okay, CDE we have just told you, so that when it receives a landing call continuous in the unoccupied setter, and it will answer to the call that is adjacent to above to this setter. Okay. For the on the other hand, if we found the leaf or the landing call is below the setter that it is occupied, lowest occupied, then it will answer by the leaf. Okay, and finally in point E, we say that all the landing call registered below the car setter will be assigned to the lowest occupied setter. For point D, we supplement that if the call landing register behind the leaf, okay, that means it just past the 4, so it will become a vacant setter. Okay. Now we hope that by using the fixed setter fixed setter common system, we hope that the leaf can be eventually distributed around the building in order to have a good performance, to have balanced interfloor traffic. And normally, we divide the floor into an even number so that each leaf is assigned to serve these floors. Okay, and we found that the system should perform very well for the uppeak and unbalanced interfloor traffic conditions, because we assume our solution is not balanced. So if we assign the leaf in a balanced manner, we should have a good solution, right? Now, however, we found that if we have a sudden heavy demands, the system may fail because we found that for the heavy down peak traffic condition, poor service is provided to the lower floors of the building because the leaf are recycled to serve each setter. Okay, I think that this you may have the experience that if you are present in the lower floor in a building, and during the peak season, it is not easy to get into the lift to come down to the main terminal. Okay, now this is because the lift system may apply the fixed setter system, so that it does not assign any lift to carry the heavy traffic to the lower floor. Okay, and it gives some it gives the surface become poor to the passengers, right? So in order to solve the problem, we propose another approach to solve. But before we do that, let me give you an example. Now in this example, you can see that we have a building with 16 floors and 4 lifts, and we classify the setter to become setter A. It mainly serves the ground, okay, because we think that the main terminal is very important. Therefore, we assign only the main terminal as a single setter. That means we have always a lift assigned to the main terminal. Setter B occupy 4 first floor to 6th floor. Sector C occupy 7th floor to 11th floor. Sector D occupy the 12th floor to 16th floor. Okay. Now the number of floor for sector B is slightly larger than the others because we may make an assumption that people may walk to or from floor 1, the first floor, because it is a short distance to the main terminal. Therefore, the passenger may prefer to walk, come up the stair or come down the stair without taking the lift. Okay. And sector C and sector D has a eventually number of 4, and the travel distance are longer than sector B. Okay. And we say that the FSO, the fixed sector system algorithm, provide a good control for upbeat and balance in the flow of traffic. Okay. Now another approach, we apply the fixed sector. It is the priority timed system. Now it depends on the waiting time of the passenger. We classify the priority. Okay, so that the longer the passenger he or she waits, we will make his or her priority become higher, so that the call may serve them immediately. Okay. Now in this approach, the static, we again using the directional sector system. Okay, so that we group the list in the upward sector or downward sector, and they are the order due to the priority time basis. Okay, and the landing in the building zone served to by the up and down sectors that we have just told you, and each sector is timed. That means we use a timer to count the number of seconds the passenger waits. Okay, where after the call is registered. Okay, if the time is within a certain limit, then it belongs to a certain category. Okay, and this limit, it is known as the predefined period of time, and it classifies the priority level. Okay, so the time to reach a specific priority level may be different to each sector. That means you can see our example here. We can have the time limit for 30 seconds, 50 seconds, 70 seconds, 90 seconds, 105 seconds, and 120 seconds. And you can see the difference between the time difference. Okay, and it can be controlled by the operator. Okay, and we classify this period of time for the 6 priority level. Okay, and they are not have the equal time steps. Okay, and also why we using the uneven time steps for our priority, because in that case we can easily to have a VIP control by overriding the priority, so that we can make your VIP surface to adjust the time, so that the lift can serve the VIP surface immediately. Okay. Now here we give you an example. Now in this example, we consider we have 5 lifts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 17 floors, okay, including the main terminal. And at a particular time, the position and the status of each lift are indicated in the figure, so that now lift 1 is in 7th floor, and it is going upward. Okay, lift 2, it is in the 3rd floor, and it is stationary. Lift 3, it is in the main terminal, and it is stationary. Lift 4, it is in the 12th floor, and it is moving down. And lift 5, it is in the 16th floor, and it is moving down. Okay. And according to the up and down setter, okay, and we divide in the two groups, upward call, up call, or down call. They belong to different setter. And in each setter, we divide into 4 subsetter: S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. Now, S1 to S4 belongs to up setter, and S5 to S9 belongs to the down center. Okay, and you can see that the leaf system receives some up call. Okay, one is in the line 4 in setter 3 with the priority 1, and the up call in the 14.4, it is in setter 4. It is also we don't have the setter is in P3, priority 3. Okay. Now in the down center, it is similar. You can see we have some down call here, and the setter for S6, S7, and S8 are P4, P4, and P2 respectively. Okay. And now we can see the leaf activity in this place. Now, firstly, car 1 was allocated to setter 4 because it is going upward. At the same time, it is going to serve the setter with a higher priority. In here, we have P3 and P1, where priority 3 should have a higher priority than priority 1. So, car 1 will serve for setter 4, and it passed away for 9 because it only has priority 1. Okay, and car 2, it is just become available, and the 2 setter are demanding service, including S3, okay, and also the S8, because they are closer to the car 2. But car setter 8 has a priority P2 higher than setter 3, P1. Therefore, the leaf will assign to setter 8, and it will travel to the 7.4 because we have 2 down call here. Okay, and then it start reverse the direction and pick up the passenger in 4.5, 5.4, and then go down to the main terminal. Okay, now the car 3, it is next to the leaf to the ground 4, and it stay in here because it is assigned to the setter in the main terminal S1. And car 4 will be allocated to setter 7, okay, in here because it has the higher priority. And you can see that car 4, it is in 12.4, and you can find it is a core in the same 4, but we consider that the car has just passed the 12.4 and it cannot pick up the core at the same 4. Therefore, it continued the journey to the setter 7 and serve the core in setter 7 at the line 4. Okay. Car 5, it is in the top 4 and it will moving downward to answer the call at 4:10. Okay, because it is finished the assignment to S5, and so that it will also serve the call in the 12.4. Okay. Now, this is only an example to explain to you how the leaf serves to the setter with priority. Now, it is not fixed, and you can have other assignments to the leaf in order to serve the priority. Okay. Therefore, it makes the system become flexible. But It means that it also means that we needed to have a better control on the lift in order to serve the priority, right? Because you have many ways to serve the forward. Okay, and later we will give you some more idea by using the other approach to control the lift. Now, here we move to another settling system. It is so-called the dynamic settling system. Now, instead of assign a fixed factor, fixed forward to the setter, we dynamically allocated the setter, the forward to the setter. Okay, and we provide the setter with some algorithm to switch the algorithm from light to heavy balance interval traffic and unbalanced traffic conditions. And therefore, it depends on our real-time traffic. Or we require to monitor the traffic in the lift in order to decide which settling algorithm is going to apply to control the lift. Now, the basic dynamic setter algorithm groups the landing call in a dynamic setters according to the directional correlative procedure. That means without any control, it will use the directional correlative procedure so that it serves the forward by its order. Okay. And here we also, if we have determined the number of calls in the system, we can apply the fee lift algorithm in order to assign the fee lift to our call demand. Okay, and we are going to explain how can we apply the fee lift algorithm to serve our lift call, especially when the lift traffic become heavy. Okay, now for the fee lift algorithm, it monitors the number of car, okay, and the land callings. Okay, the number of car you may consider it is the fee car, and the landing call in the system. Okay, so at the same time, you are going to count the calls ahead to the car position, so that if you are the car present in the fourth floor, if you have a call in this 11th core, you are going to count the number of forward that it needed to travel to serve the call. So we require this information in order to determine which lift is going to serve the call. Okay. Now in the algorithm, we have a predefined number of cars and landing calls. It is so-called the optimal counter capacity. When this number is reached, the remaining landing calls are considered as heavy-duty calls, so that the fee lift will be assigned to serve the heavy-duty call. Okay. Now we are going to explain to you how this can be applied by using an example. Now in this example, now we consider that we have a group of 5 lifts. Okay, again 5 lifts, and 16 floors above the main terminal. The group operates under a dynamic control system, and the optimal counter capacity is given in below. Now we count the number of free lifts. If we have free lifts, the optimal counter capacity is 2 only. Okay, so that when we have a call above 2, we consider it is heavy duty, so that a fee lift is assigned to the heavy duty call. But if we have smaller number of fee lifts, the optimal counter capacity will be increased. For example, if you have 2 fee lifts, the optimum counter capacity is 3. When we have 1 fee lift only, the optimum counter capacity is 4 only. Now this is because our leaf resources is limited. If we have fewer number of free leaves, we needed to have a higher threshold to make the core duty become heavy, so that the free leaf will not be assigned easily when the number of free leaf is small. You see my point? Now, therefore, you can apply the table to see how can we classify the setup boundaries. Okay. Now we consider the normal dynamic setup position. Now for car number 1 here, it is in fifth 4, it is going upward, and it is assigned to the setter from fifth 4 to 12 4. Ahead of this moving, it has the core at 7, 10, 11, and 15. They are the car core, and together with some up core in the 4. Okay. The car core, you may consider that we do not know the leaf direction. Okay. We just call the car. Okay. Now for car number 2, it is assigned to deal with the setter from 411 to 5-4, because it is now in the 11-4 and it is moving downward. Car number 3, it is in the assigned to the setter for 13, 16, and then 12, because it is allocated to this setter, and it is a free leaf because it is stationary at the 13-4. Car 4, it is assigned to become a free moving leaf, and it is not assigned to any setter. And car number 5, it is dealing with the 4s, 4, and then main terminal, and then return to the 4-4. Okay, that means it is assigned to this setter. Okay, now this is the normal dynamic setter that at a particular incidence, we assign the leaf in this manner. Okay. Now we apply the free leaf algorithm to see what happens. Now because the first, second, and fifth leaves are moving, okay, and they can respond to the car call and landing call, okay, and the third and the fourth leaf are low call demand, therefore they consider the free leaf. Therefore, the number of free leaf is 2. And if you remember the table, you can see the optimal counter capacity is 3 in this case, right? So now we see that the setter of each leaf extends from the car position to the next leaf ahead. Now, therefore, you can see that car number 1 originally should reach to car 12, but the above setter does not have any leaf, therefore it will continue to serve the core in 15-4. Okay, therefore it will also serve the setter above. And when the setter reaches to the terminal 4 as car 5, it continues to opposite direction, so that it moves down and then move up again. And car 4, it is taken out to the normal settling scheme because it is a free leaf, and it can commit to a direction to travel. Okay. Now we apply the free leaf algorithm. Now car 1 has 4 core. Okay, we have already told you 4 core here, and also 4 landing core to answer, which can be classified as a heavy duty leaf because under the 3 car leaf algorithm, the optimal counter capacity is 3. Okay, And the core about larger than 3 car core, they will be considered as heavy duty. So you can see here, the lift will serve only to the car core of 7.4, 6.4, 8.4, these 3.4 only. Okay, and the others, because we may consider that the lift has already reached to the maximum capacity. So 4, 9, 10, 11, they may become the heavy duty core. Therefore, the other 2 free lifts in the 2 other dynamic sector may be assigned to the car that are assigned to the serve to the 4, 9.4 and 11.4 because they are free lift. And in this algorithm, car 4 will be allocated because according to the movement of the car 4 is moving upward, but car 13 is stationary. Therefore, car 4, it is moving towards to the 4, and the system will assign the car 4 to serve the lift. Okay, so this car will move express to 4.9 and then 4.11 to serve the lift. Okay, now again, this allocation of lift is not fixed. It depends on the design of the lift controller, and you can have the other approach to control the lift, and it is only shown to you an example. Okay. Now up to now, may I know if you have any question? Okay, now we talk about the digital control. Okay. Now, basically, nowadays, our buildings, from day one of our subject, we know that we rely on the computer to help us to control our system in the building. Okay, and here we have a centralized supervisory control system for building, and it can responsible to control the building automation system, building energy system, as well as the lift control system. Because the lift control, you can see that we relies on the algorithm to control the lift. That we cannot rely on the computer to help us to switch different algorithm to serve different lift traffic. Okay, so for the system, it acquires the real-time traffic. Okay, it has the real-time monitoring the lift traffic, and it is going to choose the best algorithm to serve the car core so that it can make the car or the lift system become efficient. And the performance of the lift control algorithm can be checked by using some simulation software. Now, actually, in the lift system design, without implement the actual lift system, we rely on the simulation because to implement an actual lift system is very expensive. Therefore, we better make some simulations before we apply our algorithm to the controller. Okay, therefore, we can freely develop our algorithm to control the lift. And before you implement, you needed to check using the simulation. Okay. Now here we told you some features about the computer-based traffic control system. Firstly, we should compute the car journey time so that the time taken for the lift to travel to a core landing call. For example, you can calculate the RTT, the round trip time that we introduced to you last time. And also, it can deal with the unbalanced interflow traffic, and so that we know that the arrival of the passenger is random. and they request the lift survey in a random approach. Therefore, we may collect the traffic profile from the building in order to make the best solution to serve the traffic. Okay, just like an example, if you are going to analyze the lift traffic in Hong Kong Bay campus, you may collect the traffic to see the number of passengers inside the lift, the time, and also the floor it travel. Then it will, you can make a database, and then you may develop your algorithm according to this data in order to best serve our lift traffic. Okay. So you can see that normally the lift traffic is unbalanced. Therefore, it relies on the detection and correction actions. Now, for the lift system, normally it is equipped with a low rating sensor so that it can detect the number of people or passengers inside the lift. And it helps us to make decisions because it detects the number of passengers inside the lift. If the low rating sensor will respond to you a high or a heavy reading, that means the lift is in heavy traffic. On the other hand, if the low rating sensor gives you a very small value, that means it is not in a heavy traffic. Now, the correction action means that if the lift system sense it is a heavy lift traffic, it will switch to other lift control algorithm in order to serve the passenger better. Okay, therefore, the correction means we are going to switch the lift control algorithm. Okay. And also, the features for the computer-based traffic control system is that we are going to reduce the number of stops during the lift traffic. Okay. Now, it can improve the lift service capacity undoubtedly because you can imagine if the passenger can go to the desired floor without any stop, then it should give a good experience to the passenger. Okay, and we two approach we can do. We can serve the passenger to wish to travel to the same floor, so that we group the passenger who are going to the same floor, so that we can minimize the number of stops. On the other hand, we can serve a landing call when a car call already exists, so that if we found inside the lift a passenger placed fifth floor, at the same time, we found a landing call is placed in the fifth floor, then we can do a matching between the two calls, so that the passenger in the lift, after complete the survey, it can serve the passenger who want to go down immediately. We are going to do a matching, okay, in order to reduce the number of stops. So how can we develop the control algorithms? To develop the technique, now firstly we should understand that for the every lift system we should have a physical limitations, that the lift system has a finite handling capacity resources, and it can serve the lift car is fixed, the capacity is fixed. So our solution is that we try to design a solution to maximize the demand. Okay, and in our algorithm, we can find that when someone gain, the other loss, so that if the lift system is going to serve two calls, for example, first floor and the live floor. For the first floor, we have 10 passengers. For the live floor, we have 1 passenger. So how you decide to serve, right? If your lift try to serve the first floor, then the passenger at line 4 will require to wait. Therefore, he or she lose the lift control, right? Or the lift surface. Therefore, in our development of the algorithm, we may search for a best way to make the passenger become happy in order to make our lift system become efficient, as efficient as we could. Okay. Now, in order to help our design normally, we will generate a cost function. And our target is that we are going to minimize the cost function in order to achieve a good algorithm to serve the passenger. Okay. Now, how can we develop the cost function? Actually, it relies on simulation because we will run some trial collection of available car and also the car cost, and then we are going to minimize the cost function. Okay, therefore, in this way, we rely on simulation, and we have the criteria on quantity of surface. That means it may refer to the handling capacity, so that we hope each of the January we can maximize our handling capacity of the lift. And also we also look for the quality of surface. For example, we may make our lift surface become balanced for each floor, just like the fixed settling. Okay. Therefore, we have many input to develop the cost function. And sometimes the cost function may known as the performance index. Okay. And usually, now we're using the average passenger waiting time, AWT, plus the average passenger journey time, so that it become the AWT plus ARTT. That means the total time required for the passenger to use the lift system, starting from he or she pressing the lift button until the passenger leave the lift car. Okay. And actually, when we talk about the artificial intelligence technique, you may find that it appears in every AI technique, because we are going to minimize the cost function. Now, normally, the design of the control algorithm relies on the stochastic traffic control. Stochastic means probable. It relating to the probability. Okay. Now, for example, it is observed that the response time to answer the landing call, it may follow a curve similar to the exponential distribution curve. Now, when we talk about probability, you may notice that we rely on the probability distribution, and we can count the number of car call and also the surface time to make a graph like this one. Okay. Now, in this graph, you can show that x-axis means the average system response time, ASRT. Okay. And y means the frequency of the call surface. And you can find that in this system, it targets to serve the car call within a short time, because the number of frequency for the short system response time is highest. Okay. So that it is targeted to have a large number of car call answer within a short time. Okay. Now, but it may be not always good, because the passenger may have a tolerance time. Say, for example, if I press the car call button, I can allow to wait for 1 minute. then it is our tolerance for the design. And we can make use of the tolerance so that without making the passenger become annoying, we can still make the passenger become satisfied to the car core surface. Okay. Therefore, we may use another distribution to design the control system. For example, we can using another approach to serve the car core in the middle of the time, so that we try to serve the passenger with the maximum time, say for example, maybe 2 minutes, okay, in order to get more passenger become happy to the car system, okay. Now, therefore, it become a statistic approach to design your control. You make your distribution and then you control your car, your lift car to serve the probability. Okay, now for example, here we're using the computer group control. It is designed to tell closer to the FH to satisfy the instant correction of the core. Okay, by moving the exponential curve into a Rayleigh distribution. Okay, now this is another probability distribution, so-called the Rayleigh distribution, and it is mainly used in the communication theory. Okay, but we're still using this kind of distribution in our design. Now, actually, you can have the other design. It depends on your how you design your control system. Okay, you can have the other distribution. Okay. Now here, we say that for the computer group control traffic control system (CGC), it is again a sophisticated control system. It refers to the probability, and it intends to provide a even surface to all four, okay, and even landing core, okay, in order to have a fair consideration. Okay. Now, in this approach, the longest waiting core should have the given first consideration of surface because he or she have been waiting for a long time. Therefore, we needed to give a highest priority to this long waiting core. And we can implement the first in, first out queue to serve the core. Here we have the example. We have 5 core. Some of them is up core, some of them is down core. And we can order the waiting time in a queue by placing the longest waiting core at the head and the shortest waiting time at the tail, so that your core will first serve the 11 core first. Now the cost function can be designed as like that. Now we can using the high threshold time HT, it is equal to the constant, okay? Normally it is equal to 3 times the average system response time, ASRT. And we can check or we can evaluate the cost function at a fixed interval, for example, 90 seconds. And it can detect the heavy traffic demand so that the order of the FIFO can be changed whenever we have heavy traffic in order to serve the heavy traffic demand first. Also, whenever we receive the VIP service, then we can make the constant have a higher value in order to make the lift serve the higher value, higher priority first. Now here we have the CGC algorithm. Now we have 2 steps. Now first, a lift is allocated to a landing core according to the least cost. Okay. Now, if another landing call has exceeded a specific but demand varying threshold value, that means we, just like the dynamic settling, we fix the time to determine the priority. If we have received a call that exceeds this threshold, then the leaf will be allocated to serve the call. Okay. On the other hand, if not exceeded, then the call will not be allocated. Okay. Now, if another leaf is scheduled to stop for a car call, that means it is going to answer a call. But at that time, when it is receiving a land call that is not waiting too longer, okay, that means it is the passenger may be waiting for too long. Then this car will be allocated to another leaf. Okay. So we're using this mechanism to control which leaf is going to serve the forward by their priority. Okay. And the landing call are considered for allocation by examination of the landing call queue. Okay. So the leaf call will be served at the head of the queue in order because he or she should wait for a long time for the car call. Okay. Now here we continue. For the CGC algorithm, you can see that the landing call queue is normally arranged as we told you from the longest waiting call to the shortest waiting call. When we receive a heavy forward, duty forward, then we will make the priority of the forward become head of the queue. Okay. And also, if we receive a VIP service so that it has a higher priority, again, the call will be bring into the head of the queue. And the landing call queue will be respond in a various categories in this order. Firstly, priority queue. Second, heavy duty queue. Third, long waiting queue. And finally, the normal call. Okay, so you can see how the CGC serve our system by using the orders. Okay. Now I think before we move on, we can take a break and let's resume the class at 4:35.